Lisa asked for the break on a Tuesday evening while I was washing dishes. She stood in the doorway, arms wrapped around herself like she was cold. "I need some space, David," she said quietly. "Just a week, to think." In 12 years of marriage, Lisa had never asked for space. She was the type who wanted to talk everything through immediately, who couldn't sleep when we had unresolved tension hanging between us. "Think about what?" I asked, not turning around. "About us, about whether this is working anymore." The words landed soft but heavy, like snow that looks harmless until it collapses a roof. I turned to face her, studying her face. Her eyes were already distant, like she'd checked out before the conversation started. "Where would you go?" "My sister's place, just for a week." Jenny lived across town in a studio apartment Lisa had always complained about. Now suddenly it was her refuge. "Okay," I said. She blinked, clearly expecting resistance. "Okay? If you need space, take it. I'm not going to beg you to stay somewhere you don't want to be." Something flickered across her face, disappointment, maybe, like she'd been prepared for a fight and now didn't know what to do with the weapons she'd been carrying. That night, she packed with the efficiency of someone who'd been planning this longer than a Tuesday evening conversation. I watched as she folded clothes I'd bought her, tucked away jewelry I'd given her for anniversaries. "This doesn't mean anything permanent," she said, not looking at me. "Of course not," I replied, but we both knew that wasn't true. When someone asks for space in a marriage, they're not looking for room to think, they're looking for room to breathe without you in it. She left Wednesday morning with a kiss on my cheek that felt like punctuation at the end of a sentence. The house felt hollow without her. I found myself listening for sounds that weren't there, her coffee mug clinking, her shower running, her voice on the phone. By Friday, I understood what the space was really about. Lisa wasn't evaluating our marriage. She was working up the courage to end it. The signs had been there for months. The way she'd stopped asking about my day. The way she'd look at me sometimes like she was seeing a stranger. That weekend, I did things I hadn't done in years. Grilled a steak for one. Read a book I'd been meaning to finish. I called my brother Mike and invited him over for beers and basketball. "Where's Lisa?" he asked, settling into the recliner. "Taking a break. Sister's place." Mike didn't press. We drank beer and watched the Lakers lose. For 3 hours I remembered what it felt like to relax in my own house. "You seem good," Mike said as he was leaving, considering. Sometimes you don't realize you've been holding your breath until you finally exhale. Sunday night, I sat on the porch, thinking about 12 years of shared meals, shared dreams. I wondered when I'd become the worst she needed a break from. Monday would mark day 6, one more day, and whatever Lisa had been working up the courage to say would come out. I was ready, or thought I was. Day 7 arrived with rain. I was sitting at the kitchen table with coffee and the morning paper when I heard car doors slamming in the driveway. Car doors, plural. I looked out the window and felt the coffee turn bitter. Lisa was walking up the path, but she wasn't alone. Behind her was Mike, my brother Mike, the one who'd sat in my living room 3 days ago, asking where my wife was like he didn't already know. They moved with the synchronization of people who'd been spending time together. Lisa touched his arm at the porch. He opened the door for her like he'd done it before. I stayed at the table, watching them through the glass like I was observing some strange species of betrayal. They came through the door together. Lisa looked different, brighter somehow, like she'd been plugged into a power source I'd never provided. "David," she said, stopping when she saw me, "we need to talk." Mike stood in the doorway, somewhere between brother and stranger. "All 3 of us?" I asked. The question hung in the air. Lisa's face flushed. Mike shifted uncomfortably. "I think that would be best," Lisa said. I refilled my coffee, took my time. When I turned back, they watched me with the anxious attention of people waiting for an explosion. "So," I said, settling back, "how was your week of thinking?" Lisa sat across from me. Mike remained standing, ready to run. "I figured some things out," Lisa said. "I bet you did." She winced but pressed on. "David, we haven't been happy for a long time. We've both known it." I sipped my coffee and waited. And Mike helped me realize that I deserved to feel alive again. Mike, my brother, the man who'd been best man at our wedding, who'd helped us move into this house. "When did this start?" I asked. "It wasn't planned," Mike said finally. We ran into each other at Jenny's building. I was visiting a friend. Of course he was. One thing led to another, Lisa added, like infidelity was just innocent accidents. So the break wasn't about thinking, I said. It was about transitioning. Lisa's eyes filled with tears that looked more like relief than guilt. I'm sorry, David, but I can't pretend anymore. I looked at Mike, who stared at the floor. And you? What's your excuse? He met my eyes. There's no excuse. But Lisa's right. You two haven't been happy. As if my marriage's problems were an invitation for my brother to provide solutions. I stood up slowly, walked to the window, and watched the rain streak down the glass like tears on a face that had given up crying. Behind me, Lisa and Mike waited for my reaction, anger, pleading, maybe even violence. Instead, I felt something much more dangerous, clarity. You know what's funny? I said, not turning around. I was actually prepared for you to ask for a divorce. Lisa, what I wasn't prepared for was this. I gestured toward Mike without looking at him. The break was supposed to make it easier, wasn't it? A gradual separation, less messy, more civilized, and then Mike could swoop in as the supportive brother-in-law who just happened to be available when you needed comfort. Lisa's voice was small behind me. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that, I said, finally turning around. You planned this whole thing, didn't you? The week away, the accidental meeting, the gradual revelation. You thought you could manage my reaction by controlling the narrative. Mike shifted uncomfortably. Dave, man, I never meant for what? For me to find out? Or for it to happen at all? He didn't answer, which was answer enough. I walked back to the table, sat down, and looked at both of them. Really looked. Lisa with her guilt-flushed cheeks and defiant eyes. Mike with his shoulders hunched like he was waiting for a punch that wasn't coming. Here's what's going to happen, I said calmly. Lisa, you're going to pack your things, all of them this time, and you're going to move in with Mike. Not Jenny, Mike, because this is his mess too, and he gets to deal with the consequences. Mike's face went white. Dave, I don't care what you think. I interrupted. You wanted her. You got her, along with her credit card debt, her anxiety about her mother, her habit of leaving dishes in the sink, and her tendency to pick fights when she's stressed. Enjoy. Lisa looked stricken. David, please, we can work out the details more gradually. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Gradually? Like you worked out this affair gradually? No, Lisa, you made your choice during your week of thinking. Now you get to live with it. I stood and pulled out my phone, dialed a number from memory. Who are you calling? Lisa asked, panic creeping into her voice. My lawyer, I said, because unlike you, I don't believe in gradual transitions when it comes to ending marriages. When something's over, it's over. The phone rang once, twice. And Mike, I said, waiting for the lawyer to answer, you get to explain to Mom and Dad why you won't be coming to family dinners anymore, because blood might be thicker than water, but betrayal is thicker than both. Mike's face crumpled. Dave, come on, we're brothers. We're brothers, I corrected, past tense. The lawyer picked up, and I walked into the next room to have a conversation about dividing a life I thought would last forever. When I came back 20 minutes later, they were both still sitting at my kitchen table, looking lost and smaller somehow. The reality of what they'd chosen was starting to sink in. The papers will be ready by Friday, I said. Lisa, you have until then to get your things out. Mike, your truck better not be in my driveway when I get home from work. Starting today. I grabbed my keys and jacket, paused at the door. You thought love was supposed to feel like an adventure, I said to Lisa, like passion and excitement and constant validation. You thought what we had was boring, predictable, safe. Well, congratulations. Now you get to find out what happens when the adventure ends and you're stuck with someone who was willing to betray his own brother for a week of feeling important. I looked at Mike. And you get to find out what it's like to be with someone who thinks marriage is something you can take a break from when it gets inconvenient. Good luck with that. The door closed behind me with a finality that felt like punctuation on the end of a very long, very painful sentence. 6 months later, I heard through mutual friends that Lisa and Mike had broken up. Apparently, the excitement of forbidden love loses its appeal when it becomes everyday responsibility. Lisa moved back in with her sister. Mike moved back in with our parents. tail between his legs like a dog who'd learned not to steal food from the table. Neither of them tried to contact me. I bought a smaller house across town, learned to cook for one, and discovered that peace is sometimes worth more than passion. The rain still falls on my windows, but now it sounds like promise instead of tears. Sometimes the best lesson you can teach someone is to give them exactly what they asked for, and then step back and watch them realize what they really wanted was what they already had. But by then, it's too late to take the break back.